Welcome to my views and news, another video for you. Firstly, Ethiopian government just a few minutes ago confirmed the control of three major towns of Tigray, and government intends to open two roads in Tigray. Details for you. Secondly, FRUD, Front for Restoration of Unity and Democracy, which was designated a terrorist body by Djibouti's parliament last week, has released a statement. FRUD has leveled some allegations against Ismail Omar, Djibouti's president in power for more than 2 decades. Djibouti government's public prosecutor office also spoke about names of the attackers who attacked Djibouti's military base on the night between the 6th and 7th of October. Details for you. Firstly, viewers, Ethiopian federal government released another statement today, and government is confirming the control of three major towns of Tigray. Since yesterday, we have been reporting what happened in Shire in southern Tigray. Now, Ethiopian government has confirmed that Shire is under its control, firstly. Secondly, Alamata is also under the control of government forces. And thirdly, Koram. We were a bit doubtful about the control of Koram, but government has confirmed that Koram is under full control of Ethiopian National Defense Force. Amhara forces, Amhara militias were also part of this operation. Now, if government is confirming the control of Koram, it does not mean that front line would be near Koram. So, front line would be near Macho. Maybe Macho could be under government control or about to come under government control. Front lines are always at a distance from the areas which are mentioned by parties to the conflict. They are under their control. So it means that entire southern Tigray, almost entire southern Tigray, Raya zone almost has been retaken by Ethiopian federal forces. There are several small villages to the east and west of Koram, Alamata, south of Alamata as well, which are under ENDF and Amhara control. And Ethiopian government is giving credit to Ethiopian National Defense Force that it captured three major towns without any civilian casualties. And that a grim scenario was being painted by some pro-TPLF individuals, saying that thousands of civilians could die in the fighting in urban combat. But ENDF has been told to avoid urban combat. Now, does the credit go to Ethiopian National Defense Force, Eritrean Defense Force, or Tigray Defense Force? Well, if there were no civilian casualties in Alamata, Koram and Shire, credit goes to both. I think Tigray Defense Force also tried to avoid civilian casualties. It withdrew from Shire rather peacefully. There was no fighting during withdrawal of Tigray forces from Shire. Before that withdrawal, before that retreat, there was heavy fighting. So it wasn't a voluntary withdrawal. Yes, TDF was forced to retreat. It had no option. People were in danger of being the victims of the war. And there were some civilian casualties in Shire, in artillery strikes, rocket firing. Some civilians did die, but obviously no large-scale civilian killings in Shire, Alamata, Koram. So at least we should give credit to all the parties that in major towns and cities, so far no large-scale civilian casualties have been seen. Secondly, government says now it is going to open two major roads leading into Tigray, which have been closed for years. Not years, for around 2 years. We know that when the war broke out, and especially in the second phase of the conflict, when Tigray forces attacked Amhara Afar region, Amhara region decided that it would not allow any delivery of aid to Tigray through its region. So Dassi to Alamata, Gondar to Shire roads are blocked. Amhara civilians, Amhara forces, they stopped aid convoys which used to move along these two roads into Tigray. So only available road was Samra Makale road, which was being used by aid partners for delivery of aid to Tigray, long route rather. Now government says it is going to open two roads leading into Tigray from Amhara. First road is obviously Kambolcha, Dassi, Vuldia, Kobo, Alamata, Koram. It is already open. And since Koram is under END of Amhara controls, it means that aid delivery will now start from the Amhara region towards southern Tigray. Secondly, government says it intends to open Gondar to Shire road. That's very important development. Shire under government control, Adyarke under government control, Mesamre as well. It means that government is hoping that it is going to take control of all areas between Mesamre and Shire. And fighting was being reported near Ambamadre a few hours ago. Around 24 hours ago, fighting was being reported near Ambamadre along this road, Shire Gondar road. It means government is confident that it can clear this entire road, Shire to Mesabre, Shire to Gondar. That is what we were talking about, that Shire's fall will have its impact up to Mesamre, up to Gondar, up to Erke. And that is what is happening. Tigray forces will have to withdraw. They have largely withdrawn from Mesamre, Dargai as well. They're withdrawing towards central Tigray. So government is confirming that it is going to open the two roads. One already open, other could be opened as well. Though there is some presence of Tigray forces close to Shire Gondar road. Can government forces take full control of this road? That remains to be seen. And government says it is ready to cooperate, to coordinate with aid organizations for delivery of aid to the people of Tigray. It will protect civilians in Tigray. Again, front lines are not in Shire or in Alamata, Koram. Front lines are away from these places. Fighting still happening. Maybe in a separate, we will try to give you detailed analysis of front lines. Secondly, viewers, the FRUD, Front for Restoration of Unity and Democracy, an armed group based in Djibouti, was accused of attack on a Djibouti military camp between the 6th and 7th of October, in which 7 soldiers of Djibouti's military were killed, 4 were injured and 6 went missing. And last week, Djibouti's parliament designated FRUD, FRUD, a terrorist organization. FRUD, an Afar militia basically, Afar group was formed in 1991. It split into two groups. One adopted political struggle and the other kept on fighting, and the group has been involved in small scale attacks in Djibouti in recent years. FRUD has now released a statement after it was declared a terrorist organization by Djibouti's parliament last week. FRUD says that since 1977 attack on Zinc Palm Tree Cafe, one man has been behind all crimes in Djibouti, and that man is Ismail Omar. Djibouti's president. There is repression, there is prevalence of extrajudicial killings, assassinations in Djibouti. Afars were specially targeted by mafias in power, and in these circumstances FRUD was born in 1991. Then there were splits in FRUD, and FRUD says that It was due to FRUD's struggle that multi-party system was introduced and constitution was formed in Djibouti, and Djibouti's government of Ismail Omar wants to crush all dissidents. It wants to crush Afar voices. Afars are being targeted since August 2021. Afars have been killed, injured, their houses burnt, FRUD members targeted as well, put in prisons, killed as well. So that is why FRUD will continue its struggle. The struggle is for democracy, it's for prosperity, it's for fraternity in Djibouti, and Parliament's decision of designating FRUD a terrorist outfit cannot stop FRUD from continuing the struggle. So FRUD has announced that it would keep on fighting. Meanwhile, Djibouti's and the FRUD statement has been issued by FRUD leader, whose name is Mohammed Kadame, who is leading this FRUD armed faction, not FRUD political party. Government's prosecutor, public prosecutor office today confirmed that the attackers who attacked, FRUD attackers who attacked Djibouti military camp last week, they came from Ethiopia. Around 70 to 100 fighters were involved in the attack. They were armed with hand grenade, Kalashnikovs, and they attacked the Djibouti military camp, and they were led by Ali Badul Johar. This name has been made public by Djibouti's authorities. Ali Badul Johar was leading this group. He's leading this group who's involved in this attack, and Djibouti's public prosecutor office is now pressing charges of terrorism against the individuals, against FRUD fighters involved in attack on Djibouti military base, military camp. So Djibouti is saying that Ethiopian soil was used, and a few days ago, a top level delegation from Djibouti consisting of their intelligence head, police head, visited Ethiopia. They held meetings with the top Ethiopian officials. They met with Ridwan Hussein as well, Ethiopian National Security Advisor. And back then, Ethiopia announced that it condemned attack on Djibouti military, and it was that it stood with Djibouti's government to eradicate terrorism in the region. So it means that FRUD has its bases in neighboring countries. Eritrea, maybe Eritrea was named by some Djibouti's officials unofficially that Eritrea was arming, supporting FRUD fighters. But the fighters came from Ethiopia. It is now being said by Djibouti's public prosecutor office. It means that a new group which has been fighting for years has been reactivated in the Horn of Africa. Of course, Afars live in Eritrea, in Ethiopia, in Djibouti. So FRUD will have links with the groups in Djibouti, Ethiopia, and Eritrea. And if this confrontation goes on, so it would be a source of another instability in the Horn of Africa. Thanks for watching.